let's real quick pivot to the big fellas, right? I think we saw a lot for the big fellas. Obviously, guys like Shamar Stewart are going to take the headline at the combine, but I thought there was a lot from some guys who flew under the radar a bit, right? I thought Zeke Biggers tested pretty well for a guy who's giant, but he had a 34-inch vertical for a guy who's already like 6'6" with 34-inch arms
Let
or
me
something
check.
crazy like that.
Yeah, he had a great day. I actually included in my story about guys who improved their stock at the combine, CJ West,
Oh yeah, that's my
defensive
guy.
tackle from Indiana, who was one of the only people to show up against Notre Dame and in some of their bigger games. Ran a 4.95 40, 173 in a 10-yard split, 33-inch vertical. I think with CJ West, the he's short and he's got small arms, but he is
Mm-hmm.
such a powerful run defender. He just he gets a hold of you and you're not going anywhere. Like he wins that rep. He's able to two gap. I think he's a strong one gap defender. I think you can play him as a nose if you wanted to. Um, but he is such a intriguing prospect on day 3 of the draft in a
Mm-hmm.
loaded defensive tackle class that maybe a strong combine performance moves him up. I thought he had some really nice stuff on tape, especially against Michigan. I actually think the Notre Dame game was not a bad game for CJ West. He was the only guy who was consistently in the backfield. It's just Jeremiah Love is very fast. Ty Robinson from Nebraska, saw him at the Senior Bowl.
Oh,
I did not think Ty Robinson had that in him.
Ty
But
Robinson got that classic, like built like a brick house, like just a lumberjack build. He don't got no cuts, but just pure. If he was a wrestler, I'm
mm,
like, I know that chop is nasty, right? Like he got the
mm-hmm.
build of somebody who like that Walter build, right? Like that NXT Walter build on him, where I'm like, okay, yeah, that man got strong,
if
strong,
you
strong hands.
if you like
Like,
Dean Lowry, Ty Robinson is the same player. I think he can play a 3 tech. I think he'd be a 5 tech in a 3-4 defense. But his play against the run is also something that I really noticed in the Senior Bowl. But if he's testing like that, like, hey, let me go back and watch the film. I think the thing that really stood out watching the defensive linemen is that this defensive line class is loaded,
yes.
especially at defensive tackle. You can find a guy on day 3 if you
Mm,
wanted to that can really fill the role, fill your needs. I think a guy like Tyleik Williams from Ohio State, kind of gone under the radar, but a
mm,
kick-ass run defender, just a monster in the run game. Doesn't really offer much right now as a pass rusher, but if you need a guy in your defense to just stop the run, that's the guy you want. They all had some really impressive days. TJ Sanders was impressive. I think Tonka Hemingway, also from South Carolina, was impressive. What are they doing at South Carolina
I'm
to
about to
get
say
all the
there's somebody else in South Carolina we got to talk about for just a little
yeah.
bit here. But Ty Robinson is the reason I was like, damn, I think Shador's slow because he was running him down, right? And then he gets to the combine, he ran 4.83. I was like, maybe I was harsh on Shador. Like
It was
maybe
like,
Shador
hey,
ain't that slow. Maybe Ty's
I'm sorry, Ty.
fast.
I'm sorry, Ty. I was not familiar with your game.
Cause I
I
saw
didn't
that.
think,
I saw he chased him down. And I was like, was that a 3 tech?
yeah.
Like,
Like, I did not think you had that in you.
mm-hmm.
He also jumped 33 and a half in the vertical,
Yeah.
1-7, 110-yard split, 4.5 short shuttle. Who who did where are you?
What were they doing with him?
What were you
How
doing?
was he not playing edge more often or something?
What
Like,
were you doing at Nebraska? How are you not this
uh,
consistently? So I think this really showed that the defensive tackle class and defensive line class as a whole just has so many really fun guys up and down the board.
yeah. So let's talk about the safety from South Carolina who had one of the most unbelievable. My jaw dropped when I looked at his combine page because some of this shit was unreal. Right? Well, did he have long arms and do like 20 something in the bench press too?
Yes.
At 200 pounds. I was like, hey, I'm sorry, it's one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in my life. Like, that man should have been a boxer. Like, I
Oh
don't
yeah.
know if he should be a corner or a safety in NFL, but my God, 43-inch vertical. And then when he did
Oh
11
my.
3 on the broad,
Yeah, let me pull up the numbers exactly. Nick Emenwari from South Carolina possibly could also be an Avenger. I think if Marvel is looking for another person to be Captain America
I'm about to say
or
that's the Falcon version of Captain America right there. He took the serum, right?
yeah,
Like
oh, he absolutely
he took the
took the
serum.
super soldier serum. I don't know what that's what they're feeding them at South Carolina. Because how do
Anthony
you have
Mackie need
all of
to
these guys?
Anthony Mackie needs to spend a summer over in South Carolina because obviously he would have been able to chase down the homie in the first act of that movie if he would have just been in South Carolina for a year.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they got
So
the Nick Harbor. They got Nick Harbor just chilling back there. How are
and
they
Nick
not a better football team? Let me not get
because
sidetracked.
Nick Harbor is not a very good football player.
Yeah,
Like,
but boy,
Nick
they got
Harbor
athletes.
Nick Harbor could stop playing football and focus on track, and I'm like, I get it. Like, all right, like you that makes sense. Like
it
word.
is it is a fascinating and obvious recruiting strategy where they were like, we gonna just develop these boys. And like
Is
the development just hasn't gone how they wanted it to at times.
not at all. But hey, like I applaud you for trying. But Nick Emenwari, 4.38 40-yard dash,
Goodness.
43-inch vertical, 11.6 broad jump at 6'3", 220 pounds. What do you do with that? And the thing is, it's not just a workout warrior. He is incredibly good on tape. I think his instincts close to the line of scrimmage. He has matchup ability on tight ends. The speed, making plays on the ball shows up, and he is an explosive hitter.
Mm-hmm.
Explosive hitter. I think he's going to be more of the overhang nickel in the NFL at the NFL level, but you can get a guy that what Derwin James was in Los Angeles this year. You can envision that at the best for Nick Emenwari. But I just want to get an athlete like that and say, hey, we'll figure it out. We will put you somewhere.
100% he's going to an AFC North team that has to play Lamar Jackson.
Oh, I think he's going to the AFC North team with Lamar Jackson.
That's unfair.
Like,
Okay.
just imagine 6'4" Kyle Hamilton, 6'3"
Yeah.
Nick Emenwari, and then
Ooh.
little 5'8" Ardarius Washington,
Mm.
just all roaming the secondary. Good luck.
Yep. Yeah,
Like
that'd be. I would want him just to be like, "Hey man, somebody got chased down Lamar. You gonna be the one to do it, brother."
that you are the Lamar spy.
Yeah, you follow him. I'm tired of watching Grant Delpit
You
trying to do this. And Grant Delpit's a great athlete, right? Like,
you know how in the NBA they have like LeBron stoppers or
oh
Curry
yeah,
stoppers? That's
yeah,
a Lamar stopper.
yeah. You just throw him out there. What's your assignment? Number 8.
That's it.
Okay, I don't care where the rest of the play goes. You
You
are
got that
following
guy.
number 8.
You
Okay.
play the Chiefs, you follow 15. That's it.
You and if you draft Abdul Carter, he's doing that shit too. Y'all are both just watching Lamar Jackson. Okay? Like, do not let him just run away by himself. That is the
Mm-mm.
game plan. I don't care if he throws over you, dog. I'll take that 20-yard hit to Mark Andrews. Okay?
Yeah, like if Lamar does some like freaky Lamar stuff, fine. But he's gonna get hit when he does it.
Mhm. You
Because
know
you
what
better
I'm not
be
about to
there.
let Lamar do? Run out of bounds, put his hands up, and get 40 yards. Like, nah, fuck that. Like, we nah. No. Because that's how he gets started. He get out of bounds, he shake you, he put his hands up. Next thing you know, Lamar just throwing dots for the rest of the game. You just let him it's like letting him get on a fast break and get a dunk. Like, no, foul him. Okay? like, get the face mask. I do not care, dog. Don't let him think he just out here hot now. Like, he gonna die.
You have got to get somebody to follow him.
Mhm.
Just run after him. Make him feel uncomfortable. And
Oh
that's why I
yeah.
think like
And
him
a
and
young
Ward can
man,
be that.
and a young man, because of that bench press number, has unfortunately earned the duty of Josh Allen guy too. Right? You gonna be the one
See,
dude in the 20s that they gonna be like, go tackle him.
see that's a little bit too much. Hey man, good luck. Because
Hey,
it's not the same.
you going just hold on. Look, what's your grip test like? Right?
That's like trying to tackle an ostrich.
Oh yeah, it's like trying to tackle an ostrich that weighs the weight of 3 ostriches. Like, it's like, but
Like,
you
hey,
gotta just speed to power that, right? Like, just speed power, get low, chop the
get
tree,
low.
get low.
Don't
Like,
let him go right.
uh huh,
Don't let
uh
him go
huh.
right. Just
And look, don't guess. Don't guess. He's not gonna outquick you. Like,
Just hit him.
That's, yeah.
Just hit him.
Just put your head in the biggest part of his body. Right?
Which part is that? I have no idea.
It
But
depends
just
on
hit
the
him.
angle, brother.
Just hit him.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
Yeah.
surface area.
That man has earned himself a lot of difficult duty in the NFL. If I were him, I would consider doing so. I think boxing would be lighter on his body than what they going to ask him to do in the NFL, because it's going to be whole lot of, hey man, you see that freak? Tackle him. Hey, Derrick Henry, that's you. Like,
good luck.
Hey, you got that, man.
You got it. Hey, George, we need somebody to stop George Kittle. There you
Oh yeah.
go. Have
Oh
fun.
yeah. Hey, look. Hey, I'm telling you right now, Nicholas. If you get in there and your strength coach talk about adding another 20 pounds on you, run, dog. They about to
They
have
will
your
turn
ass.
you into a linebacker.
they
You
about to
better get
have
ready.
you
You
about to be
ready to
rushing
hit
off the
330.
edge.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like I could turn you into Michael Parsons if I really wanted
hey,
to.
if Kyle Hamilton's really excited to see you, he's like, oh
Like, hey, what?
man.
Hey, how do
Like,
you feel? How you feel about runs? How you feel about run fits?
yeah,
Let's.
I'll teach you everything I know. Right? Like, because now I ain't got to do it no more. Like, just know, bruh. Hey, buy the bigger helmet, get the big pads, just get as much protection, because they gonna ask you to throw your body at some crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, yeah, it's a living. It's definitely a living. But yeah, some crazy combine outcomes. Real quick, Josh Connolly Jr. Didn't hear a lot of people talking about his combine. Was it pretty much what you know about Josh is what you know coming out, or did he show anything to you that concerned or excited you? And what give me a percentage of hope that he could be there at 33? Where should I cross my fingers to?
All right, so I'll start with I figured that Josh Connerly would be really good in the athletic testing and the movement drills. He played running back in high school and
Damn.
then was like, oh, yeah, yeah, he was a high school running back. And then was like, oh, like he just kept getting bigger. And it's like, all right, I guess I'll play tackle now. He always was an elite mover. I think that he is a really good fit for an outside zone run scheme. I don't know if his play strength is that good, which is why I think he falls to the second round. I think there's a very good shot. I'd say around 60,
Okay.
55, 60% that he falls to 33 where the Browns are. In my latest mock draft I did after the combine, I had Connerly falling to 33 to the Browns because I think that is just a perfect scheme to player fit. I think what he showed was exactly what we thought. Easy mover. The quickness, the foot agility, I think that's all going to translate because he is a very special athlete. But the problems for him come when you have to play guys who are a little bit bigger, a little more powerful. We all
Mm-hmm.
saw the rep against Mike Green at the Senior Bowl where he put him on his butt. But that's sort of the issue with Connerly is the play strength and the physicality. But in an outside zone run scheme, he makes a lot of sense.
And then Donovan Jackson, that's his first round pick, right? Yeah.
That is a first round pick.
There's no hope, right?
He has earned the right to not only be a first round pick, but also be considered a tackle.
All American
He,
guard, and potentially could have been an All American tackle if he played
yeah,
right.
it's just the fact that they had OT1 at tackle, so he decided to play guard. He proved once again the movement skills, the lateral quickness. It it kind of surprised me. I came back from Donovan Jackson's tape and I was stunned. I didn't think that he was going to be this level of talented at guard, at tackle, but you have a
Mm-hmm.
guy now with inside out versatility, a guy who's a proven high P4 starter who has won a national championship, stayed all 4 years. There's no chance he gets past Detroit at 28.
Hell, went up against all the athletic edge rushers in this class, right? James Pierce, who had a really good
Yep.
combine, went up against him. Only guy, Shamar, he's a DT. Well, there's a great debate on whatever Shamar Stewart's going to end up being. But they're pretty much every bent athletic edge. I don't want to call James Pierce bendy. He went up against in college football. So that was the big concern with him, right? Could he move well? He's a big boy, but it didn't seem to be a problem. The only guy I seen get the best of him truly was Abdul Carter, and like Abdul's just really good,
Yeah,
right?
that's just Abdul Carter. But
Yeah.
he's shown the ability to win against speed and win against power.
Mm.
from both inside and outside. And I think there it brings up the question of, is he a better tackle than guard? And it's funny because all the tackles might be better as guard in this class, and the one guard that might be the best at guard is probably better at tackle. It's just a funny way that this draft works.
You're going to have to use your imagination in this draft class on the line. I think if you do, you could be greatly rewarded because there's a lot of interesting tackle to guard prospects. I think Zeeble is another one who's a tackle to
Center.
probably like center, right? Like makes a
That
lot
is
of
a
sense at
center.
center.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to use your imagination in order to draft some of these guys here. But yeah, this is a beef draft. This is a big boy draft. You could get a lot of guys in there. We haven't even talked about the running backs, and those guys are crazy. But we'll get to that on another day. Fascinating conversation about quarterbacks with JP. Also talking about the big guys. JP, where can they find more of your work?
Yeah, you can find me at SB Nation. I am the lead football writer. That means anywhere where there's football being played, I'm writing about it, probably talking about it. You can find me on Twitter at Acosta32_JP, on Blue Sky at JP Acosta32. Just follow me, see what I'm doing, see where I'm going, see the film that I'm posting.
All right, just know, come May, I'm expecting a breakdown of Perion Winfrey snaps from Birmingham, Alabama. Okay.
Oh God. Oh no.
I'm expecting a Greedy Williams. Can he get back in the league? A snap tape from the San Antonio Brahmas, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Isn't Wade coaching the Brahmas? Or is he
Think,
coaching the Renegades?
no, he's the Renegade. He's the Houston team out there.
Yeah.
Well, no. He's the Brahmas. I think they
Yeah,
switched. I'm not sure. Somebody has to correct me on that, but I think they switched it last year because like it was Hines Ward the first year. Max Duggan, he's out there, right?
Getting on the Max Duggan tape. I remember breaking
taking
down
over,
the
taking over
first year.
for.
I broke down the great Ben DiNucci AJ McCarron battle.
Yeah, and look, taking
Everybody-
over for the GOAT, AJ McCarron is Max Duggan this year, I think,
There we
in
go.
St. Louis. So
Hacksaw Duggan.
yes. By the way, with him and Cam Rising, I'm like, they're gonna be amazing in spring league. Like him, Cam Rising, I think Riley's gonna be too sticky to be in the UFL because I'm like, that's a dude who's gonna coach. Like Riley Leonard looks like a coach right now, and I'm like, he will be a coach in like 10, 20 years because he has the personality of a dude coaches love and want to give a job to after their career ends.
The quarterback from Texas is a UFL quarterback.
Oh, you talking about Quinn?
That is a UFL legend right there. He gets the mullet back. That's a spring legend.
Springtime legend there. Who's another dude I was like, man, he's gonna be amazing.
Brady Cook.
Yeah, Brady Cook and Brosmer. I was like,
Brosmer?
Oh, yeah, Brosmer, the FCS guy. Oh, the former UNH guy, right? I'm like, yeah, that guy's gonna be amazing in the spring.
Brady Cook, who also I think had one of the fastest 40s among all players. I think he ran like a 4.6, 4.7 or something. I was like, okay, hold on. Like this cannot be real.
It was like when Derek Carr ran at 4.69, right? Remember?
Yeah, and I'm like, what do you mean? Where did this come from?
And that's my fun fact. Every time I get around a bunch of football people are like, hey man,
No,
who ran a faster 40?
He ran a 4.59.
What?
Brady Cook ran a 4.59, had a 37-inch vertical jump and a 10.8 broad jump. Brother, you are playing the wrong position.
Hey man, he is the most Derek Carr coded quarterback of all time because like I'm like, you look at his stats and it's like he threw for like 11 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, was super conservative with the football. Like he does that Derek Carr thing where you're like, you are capable of so much more, but you choose to do this to me, right? I bet Luther Bird was furious.
The problem is like, I'd say you can move tight end. He's only 214 pounds. You might be Taysom Hill.
H-back. Right? Like,
there you go.
Head of the ball.
How do you feel about playing slot receiver?
Hey, look, they asked Jalen Milroe them same questions they asking you.
Ooh. I am so glad he decided not to run.
Jalen Milroe?
Yes,
There was no time he was going to run that was going to make anybody happy. Well, that was going to do anything good for him because he could have ran a 4.3 and they'd be like, he should play running back. And then if he runs high 4.4s, people going to act like that's slow.
Yeah, I think And people kind of misconstrued my tweet when I was like, Isaiah Bond saying he's going to run 4.1s and then runs a 4.4 is hilarious. I'm not saying it's hilarious because I think a 4.4 is slow. Absolutely not.
No.
But you can't say you're going to run a 4.1 and then run a 4.4.
Yeah, it's a drastic difference. It's not even close, right?
Like that's
you weren't
not
even the
even
fastest
the
wide
same.
receiver at Texas.
You weren't the fastest player at that. You weren't even the fastest receiver.
Yeah. Like
Matthew Golden ran a whole tenth of a second.
Blue ran faster than him too, right?
Yes. Like, hey man, I'm all for the confidence. I'm all for the irrational confidence. You can't say that and then go out there and run 4.4.
You can't do that and run the same time as Elick Ayomatter, right? Like you cannot. Like
the Stanford, you ran as fast as the Stanford guy.
The dude we were worried about if he's fast, right? Like, y'all ran the same time. I'm like, is this the same prospect? He's like 215 pounds. Like,
hold on, I'm trying to find it. It was Isaac Tesla from Arkansas. Just pulled out like the craziest numbers, running a 4.43, 39.5 vertical, 10.9 broad jump, quickest short shuttle, and 3-cone. Go look up what Isaac Tesla looks like.
Yeah. Oh no, Tez Walker had the worst one because he came in there at like 150 pounds, looked like he was 140. Yeah, and he runs a 4.5, and I'm like, what's the point?
Like, oh man. Like, come on.
The 10-yard split wasn't even great. I was expecting the 10-yard split to be amazing because you watch him at Oregon. It's like he gets off, he accelerates really quick. I'm like, oh man, like damn,
I think
bro,
I think his GPS was a little better, which gives me a little bit more faith. But when a strong gust of wind can take you out of the stadium like Mary Poppins, I have questions. You better be fast.
Man, if he runs into the referee, JP, that's it. He's done. Okay, like,
he gonna fall apart like Lego bricks.
No, man, it's incredibly small. And people do that thing that drives me nuts, where you bring up him and they're like, "Well, y'all said the same thing about Deontay Smith." I'm like, "Well, did he win the fucking Heisman?"
Said the same thing about Tank Dell. Do you see what happened to Tank Dell?
Like I'll have these arguments about Cam Ward. Like, well, y'all said the same thing about Pat Mahomes. He's not Pat in college, though.
Stop saying that because you setting him up for some real irrational things.
I also heard somebody tell me that, like, oh yeah, Abdul's not gonna be a 3-down guy because he's the same size as Obo Okoronkwo. I'm like, Obo Okoronkwo is not a 3-down guy for vastly different reasons than his size, dog.
Pulling out an Obo Okoronkwo comp for Abdul Carter is the nastiest thing I have heard.
He's like, well, they're only 5 pounds apart. I'm like, that's not what the difference is here, dog. Like,
one of them is good at football.
One of them has played edge for 1 year. It is more developed than Obo Okoronkwo has been in 7 years.
One of them is good at football, and the other is Obo Okoronkwo.
Yeah, like no shade to Obo, solid role player. But hey, dog. Guy. Yeah, he's never done a Von Miller hump move. Okay.
Yeah, no.
A ghost move, my bad. Right?
No.
He's never ran and his knees hit his chest as he runs under one of the best tackles in this class. That just hasn't happened, right? He's never converted speed to power, right? Like that.
There's levels. That's okay. And it is okay to just be a rotation guy.
I feel like we need to ban the mock draftable website because that's where the source of all these cops are coming to. It's like, okay, you're just too focused on the physical.
We need to ban draft comps to NFL players.
Mm-hmm.
No more comparing guys to NFL players because you're setting these guys up for success or immediate failure. What do you mean you're comparing Caleb Johnson to Marshawn Lynch? Those are not the same players.
We need to compare NFL players to what their football career would feel like if they were a pro wrestler, right? Whereas like Shedeur Sanders, Dolph Ziggler, right? Go hold it down in the Intercontinental Championship seed, right? Like
hey,
might not be, what? He might get the world title one time, but it ain't gonna feel right when he got the world title.
What? The other day I called Baker Mayfield Spike Dudley, so this makes sense.
Spike Dudley.
Like, hey, he gonna pick a lot of fights that he not gonna win, but he gonna give 100%.
I feel like he's either Spike Dudley or Mick Foley, where like the pure enjoyment of watching Baker Mayfield is like, look at this regular dude put himself through all of this shit.
Foley won a title though.
Yeah, Foley was like a legitimate like That's who Baker Mayfield is in his head, which makes like the Crash Holly, Spike Dudley thing make a lot of sense, right? Good career
Yeah.
out of both of them. Let's see. It feels like I got one for your boy. Trevor Lawrence feels like Randy Orton, where it's like he
Oh
was
yeah.
ordained coming in, and look, he good, but
I
like,
think he's in that range from like post world championship win when he was like 24 to like pre 2009 Randy Orton,
mm,
where like it's kind of like you see it, but you don't see it.
yeah, yeah, it's like eventually it's gonna get there, right? But you always gonna be like, damn, man, like it was kind of supposed to be a little bit more than what it is. And then who gonna be Drew McIntyre, right? I feel like it's gonna be Caleb Williams. I feel like he just got to get out of Chicago, right? Like, get out of Chicago, dog.
Hey, I got one
Spend your
for
couple
you.
years in TNA.
Jameis Winston, Reverend Devon Dudley.
Reverend Devon.
Reverend Devon.
Who's the Geno Smith, Bully Ray.
Oh yeah.
That's perfect right there. Bully Ray,
Wait,
right?
wait, 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 wait. Sam Darnold is Bully Ray.
Sam
Because they're the
Darnold's
same.
Bully Ray.
They're the same. They're the same person.
You
One
know
is
what?
white,
And
the
then
other's black.
look. Sam Darnold's Bully Ray because he's gonna have that run in TNA, and then he's gonna get signed to a team, and he's gonna go back to being Bubba Ray, right?
Yeah.
Which is precisely what happened with Bubba Ray, where they just say, "Nah, you Bubba Ray, get the tables." Like,
Yeah, go get the tables. What are you doing?
Get the tables, dog. So let's see what other fun pro wrestling NFL comps can we come up with before we head out of here?
Patrick Mahomes is the game. He's Triple H, and this is like Reign of Terror Triple H.
Yeah,
Where,
like it's like, dog, why won't you let Booker T win?
like it doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter how loud you get, Triple H gonna win.
Or is it Fruity Pebble John Cena? Where the only hope we had to end it was The Rock coming back from Fast and the Furious to beat John Cena.
Then I guess that kind of aligns with Brady being The Rock.
Yeah.
So we can go Fruity Pebble Cena.
Fruity Pebble Cena, man, that was a different. People were angry about that. Like, what Pat Mahomes has done to the Texans, that's exactly what Cena did to the Nexus, right? Oh, look at this new fun group showing up. Pat Mahomes, like, yeah, give me that. Nah.
That's what he did. That's what he did to the AFC West. I don't think the AFC West has seen a day of like glory. I think Joe Burrow is Chris Jericho.
That's a good one.
Real technical showman. A lot of Chris Jericho's faults also are because of Chris Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the Bengals' faults can be attributed to Joe Burrow.
Who's the Lamar Jackson of pro wrestling?
Jeff Hardy.
You think Jeff Hardy? That's a great one. That's a great one. Because he's like,
love Jeff Hardy.
Yes. And Jeff Hardy is always, people are always going to respect what Jeff Hardy brings to the table. Especially the people who wrestle. They're going to be like, nah, Jeff Hardy's crazy, right? Like,
and nobody at the beginning thought Jeff Hardy would be world champion. But it took him a long time to get to that. So that's where we're at with Lamar.
All right, two more fun cops. Not thinking about who, especially one of these people are off the ring, but who fills in the Big Show and Kane spot? Where you like the Steelers organization feels a lot like Kane in from like Mask Off Kane, when it's like you got a fun player and like they go to Pittsburgh and you're like, they ain't gonna really do nothing, but they ain't gonna be bad. like it's just like, oh man, I want to see CM Punk or Kane.
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff.
We're like, Jared Goff is good. I like watching Jared Goff, but I don't think Jared Goff is on the same level as those guys that like are a tier above him. Yes. You know? So I think he kind of is in that Big Show Kane area where like they're capable of doing cool stuff, but most of the time the cool moments in the WWE are happening to them instead of them being the ones to do it.
Like everybody has if you're a young quarterback, you got to surpass Jared Goff, right? Like in order
Yeah.
to ascend to superstardom. Like he is the guy that, okay, let's see if this guy is serious. Let's have him wrestle a program with Jared Goff, right? Oh, this
Yeah.
guy's supposed to be the next Brock Lesnar. Let's see if he can wrestle Kane, right? Like,
Yeah. You got to
but,
go through Jared Goff to get to like the level that you think you want to be at.
mm, mm. All right, Jinder Mahal cop. Who's gonna have? Is Sam Darnold a Jinder Mahal cop?
I,
Right?
ki- I
Kind of
kind of think,
like
I kind of see it. What about Derek Carr?
Derek Carr.
Because there was a
Yeah.
point in time where everybody was like, Derek Carr is awesome. And then that went away very quickly.
Well, it was like Derek Carr stinks for the first 2 years of his career. And then Derek Carr got better. And you're like, oh my God, look at it. This could be the real deal. And then you look at Derek Carr that feel like the real deal. You remember that man ran 4.69, right?
Uh-huh.
At the time, 4.69 was fast for a
They
quarterback,
made the
right?
playoffs.
Yeah, they made the playoffs. We know Derek Carr got a crazy arm. And you're like, yeah, man, this could happen. And then they try to make it happen for a couple of years. And you like, oh, this ain't going to happen the way that we want it to happen, right? He has the Pikachu moment. And now it's just like, all right, now he on the Saints. The same way, I don't know what Jinder Mahal is doing anymore, but I assume he is the first guy that gets beat up when somebody gets called up to from NXT, right? Like he's the guy you set up. All right, beat him up. That's going to look impressive to the general audience. And then Jinder Mahal's out the way. Kind of back where he started, right?
Yeah.
But more impressive looking. Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You can say, well, he's a former world champion too if you beat him.
I got one more for you.
Right.
Josh Allen is Batista.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like just these athletic monsters who are just like putting it together.
Yeah, and it's like with Batista, you never felt like he reached his potential because you thought the potential for him was just absurd. Right? Like Josh Allen will never reach the potential, and like he was being compared in this era, like John Cena was still on top, right?
Like
Other guys were on top.
The only reason like Batista was not like multi-time, like not Hall of Fame, but like the greatest of all time is because he had to fight John Cena. Mm-hmm. And the only reason Josh Allen has not been to the Super Bowl is because he can't beat Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's John Cena. We're the same color shirts and everything. Like, don't it feel like watching John Cena? We're like, dog, man. You be watching. I said this, I think a couple years ago when people were like rooting for somebody. I think it was the Miami Dolphins to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. And I think I was like, that's like thinking R-Truth was going to beat John Cena.
I say that's the Nexus. That's Zack Ryder.
I remember my dad talked himself into that. He was like, nah, man, R-Truth gonna do it. He's over. Like, you know, he had the truth will set you free going on. And I was like, Dad, it's R-Truth and that's John Cena. They not about to let him.
That's Baron Corbin. You think Baron Corbin gonna beat John Cena? Okay.
You think what was his name?
Wade Barrett.
Wade Barrett about to take down John Cena, dude. You think that's about to go down? They didn't even let CM Punk stay on top of him for that long. They said he could go home, dog. Daniel Bryan. They was like, nah to Daniel Bryan. Got Daniel Bryan out there wrestling with one arm in AEW, and he's having the time of his life because it's like, hey, dog, at least I don't have to deal with that. Right? Like,
that's the wrestler that Baker Mayfield thinks he is. He thinks he's Daniel Bryan.
So he's Daniel Garcia.
I think he's Darby Allin at this point. Because
he is who Baker Mayfield is? We need to find somebody who insists that they are a big man, even though they are not the size to be a big man in pro wrestling. Like, that is kind of like, he's like an undersized big man, but like all he got is the effort to try. It's kind of like what Jonathan Gresham, if we really get deep in our bag, where John trying to pull off the big man stuff, but he 5'3", right? Yeah. And it's like, John, you got to keep him on the back.
Choke slam don't look good when you do it.
You can't powerbomb nobody, big dog. Like, it's not enough distance.
It's not in your bag. That's just gonna look like an arm drag.
Yeah, it's gonna look like a Hurricanrana, like a really small or a schoolboy, right? But it's like, that's who Baker is. It's like, oh man, he's this dude who like, he's 5'10" and he's 215 pounds and he's trying to do a power man moveset on television wrestling, which just don't work. Right?
Like, hey, you just don't have that in your bag, and that's okay.
I'm gonna need you to learn how to jump over that rope. Right?
We need you to learn some lucha libre.
That is the fun difference in AEW and WWE to me, is like in AEW, some of these guys get here and they realize what they need to do, right? Which is, hey man, you ain't one of these dudes we gonna be on if you wrestle slow. Nah, you need to jump over that rope, big dog.
Jump
you
on
need
over.
to learn some tricks or else they ain't gonna be into you.
You need to add one top rope move to your move.
Is AEW South Carolina where you just look at AEW's roster, you're like, oh my God, the athletes on that roster. I took my girl and her sister to a show. It was Ricochet wrestling in the main event against Swerve, and it was Will Ospreay going up against, I think, Mark Madden.
Yeah.
And they watched that shit. I was like, oh, y'all about to see some shit. Right? Oh, Buddy Matthews and their
Okada?
tag team, went up against Konosuke Takeshita. I was like, oh, y'all getting all the athletes today. And they were like, oh my God. I was like, yeah, that's what AEW brings to the table, is that you're going to see some shit.
You are going to see some crazy shit.
You pay $30, you going to see somebody do something you ain't never seen before. Like, they saw that Ricochet little backflip. I was like, yeah. They was like, who is that? I'm like, see, that draws.
There it is.
Right?
There it is.
That draws. But you know when they got bored? It was like a segment out there, and it was Chris Jericho wrestling somebody. I'm like, y'all can use the bathroom. Y'all not missing nothing. Like,
that's right.
Like, let's go home, big dog. Y'all ain't got nothing to worry about here. So fascinating comps to pro wrestling characters. I'm probably gonna have to split that into its own segment in itself. But JP, thank you for being on. Anything else you have to say before we get out here to keep everybody sane during the draft process?
Don't take too much into everything that everybody says. Build your own opinions. Don't take everything with this. Don't turn a mountain into a molehill. Don't turn a molehill into a mountain.
Stand on your business. That's what JP said, right? If you thought that man was trash before the combine, you stay on that, okay? If you thought that man was great before the combine, don't let this change your mind.
Always double down.
Triple down. Like, that's going to be fascinating. I want to see, because like, I feel like somebody's going to draft Will Howard way too early. I can see a football guy being like, you know what? You know who also didn't have a good arm strength? Joe Montana. Like, and then take that man way too. If anybody could be Bo Nix this year, it is Will Howard. But y'all have a great day. Have a better night. Peace.